There are 130 mountains over 1,000 metres in height in Scotland, and this is one of them. And it's a lovely, wild, rugged area, but it's not too remote. On this trip, I head off with my tent and my wee companion in search of some solitude on this 1,000 metre peak. Right, hello, and today I'm going for a wild camp, as you can probably tell by the size of the pack on my back. And I really don't expect anyone, or to see anybody when I'm up here. It's a bank holiday weekend, so every car park, Monroe car park's been heaving. In fact, you'll probably see some cars behind me. That's overspill car parks for some popular Monroes. And I might be going up a Monroe, but I've never been up it this way. And yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about this. There's a reason I've chosen this. I do need some quiet time, some solitude, away from people. I think it's therapeutic for me. Again, I'll come into that later on. It might not be for everyone. There's been a few incidences lately which have highlighted that to me, and I've got some company. I'm not completely by myself. Ain't that right, Lexi? So it's actually Lexi's first wild camp. She's been on many Monroe hikes and up mountains, but she's never come with me on a camp before. So let me spin you around and I'll show you kind of where I am and where I'm going. So I don't know if you can make out, some of you might recognise the dam on the left hand side, or the loch on the left hand side of your picture down there. But I'm going up to this steeply sided mountain to the right hand side, and the top of it's, I don't know, it's about 1,100 metres, so it's not small. And the campsite's just over the top here, and I've never ever been this way, so I'm a bit concerned that I won't find anywhere to camp, because I don't know what the lay of the land is, but I'll find somewhere. But I'm wanting to try to get close to camping near a water source. And there's something else about this water source. A mythical creature might live up there, put it that way. And no, I'm not at Loch Ness, but let's go. I'll give you more info later on. The dog's waiting on me. Right, hold up, Lex. As you can probably see, the ground's starting to level off a little bit here, which is great because it's really quite a steep pool. I always forget how much more extra effort you have to put in when you're carrying your house for the night in the back of your back and your backpack. So yeah, I can see now the ridge and the Monroe and mountain that I might go up to tonight, but there's a wee hill first I'll show you that I need to go over before I get up there. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if the Monroe being shot, but this wee hill here, I'll go up that first and then I drop down, and my intended camp spot with the water source is just over the top here. So let's see if, let's get there and see if there's anywhere nice to pitch, and it's quite windy as well, so could be interesting finding a pitch. Right, I'm at the point where I can see down to where I'm hoping to camp. It's just down here. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out. And the Lochan, it's kind of nestled away. I might get some shelter down here because it is guy windy. It is forecast to be 20 or 30 mile an hour winds. And there's the mountain there. It looks fine. It actually looks better. This is the best direction, the best view of it, should I say. And I've never been this way before, as I said before. But yeah, let's get down here and see if I can find somewhere to pitch the tent. That's me down at the Lochan here, and it looks idyllic here. From afar it looked perfect, but it's just, I think after a really dry spell this bit would be perfect. It's a nice wee, I wouldn't say meadow because it's mainly moss and it's a bit wet. I could get away with camping on it, but I just think it's maybe a wee bit too damp. So I'm going to take a walk around and see, maybe spend a wee bit of time seeing if I can find somewhere nice to pitch. You might just have to be on tussocky grass, but the ground mat's good for that. It levels it out. So let's have a wee donder about and see. If not, I might come back here. How do you think, Lex? I think round about here. So I've been searching for about half an hour now. It was just a wee bit too boggy down by the Lochan, so I'm going to pitch up here. It's quite mossy, but it's a wee bit drier. But I think it's the best I can get. And as I always say, it's very hard to get any pitches that are super flat. So yeah, I've got a nice wee view behind down to the Lochan, which I'll talk about. the mythical creature and all that sort of stuff, and a nice view up to the mountain. It's Mealnan Tarmacan. I can also see the rest of the range from here. So view wise, this is a pretty good spot, so I think I'll set up here and see what I can do. And there's a wee knoll which the camera's sat on, which will give me a wee bit of shelter from that stiff breeze. Right, let's get set up. Here comes the sun, Lex. Having decided on my pitch it was time to get the tent out and go through the rigmarole of getting it all set up. And it was lovely. It's not a remote spot by any stretch of the imagination, but I hadn't seen another soul and it certainly felt very remote and wild. It just shows you don't really have to go too far to experience this solitude, and that's exactly what I was after on this trip. Was a bit of solitude and a bit of me time. Oh right, that's we've got the tent ups. It's actually quite nice. It's in a wee bit of a slant. I might be sliding down to the bottom of the bag tonight, but we'll see. Yeah, it's quite nice actually. As I said, I've got the loch there, I've got the views. It's just a nice wee spot, and relatively sheltered, I think. So I'm gonna have a wee coffee just now, and then maybe nip up to the summit. We'll go for a wee donder up to the summit once I've had a wee bite to eat, and then we'll come back. So I'll report back in a wee while. I'm quite close to a wee stream as well for a water source. It means I don't have to walk down. About 100 metres maybe down to the loch, which is called Lochan and Tarbh Uisge, and it's the Tarbh Uisge bit which I'm a bit worried about. Anyway, more about that later. Anyway, Tarbh Uisge, it's not going to come anywhere near me because we've got a wee protector here. Wee Lexi will protect me from any mythical beasts, water beasts, but we'll come back to that later on. Eh? Right, let's go and get some water and a wee coffee. Right, I've had my cup of coffee, I feel a lot better. Not that I felt bad before, to be honest with you, but I'm going to take a wee donder up to the top. It's about 5 o'clock now, and as expected, I've not met another soul. I might meet folk up here, even though it's quite late, 'cause it's quite a popular Munro, quite an easy one to get to from both sides, to be honest with you. So I think Lexi's just actually chilled out now. She's going to be rolling her eyes, going, "Oh God, do we have to go again?" But yeah, I'm at about 800 metres here. So it's about 250 metres ascent to the top. So let's head up there and then I'll come back down and get some tea. Oh wee! Oh, I've literally come straight up that gully. I don't think I'll be going down that way. A bit too slippery. It looks like there's been snow lying there until quite recently. You can tell by just the difference in the vegetation, and it's a north facing gully and it's quite high up. We're over 900 metres now, so but yeah, still got a fair bit to go. The dog's waiting on me. But look at these views now over to Ben Lors and Ben Glass and the Lors range. It is lovely. I'm just hoping by the time I get to the top the cloud hasn't come down. My tent's away down there somewhere. I don't know if you can make it out, just in front of the Lochan. Right, I'll report back when I get to the summit. Still a wee bit to go. It was a steep pull up to the summit, and there was bits and bobs where it looked like there might have been a path, but the going was pretty good because the grass was short, path or no path, and it was just lovely. It's always nice visiting a hill which I've been up many times, but up a route that I've never been up before. Not only was it providing some interest, but there was nobody there either. It was lovely. The summit. Oh, it's breezy up here. Summit of Mealnan Tarmacan, and I think it's 1,044 metres, so it's not small, but you do start at quite a high starting point, as you do with all the Lors mountains. What a viewpoint. See over to the Lors range, and then the rest of this ridge, actually, this is probably one of the more famous ridges or ridge walks in Scotland, and I think the actual summit here, it's the only Munro. There's a few other tops that are over 1,000 metres, but they're not classified as Munros. There'll be Munro tops, but they're probably more interesting than than the actual summit, which is this one. And you can see it's Stob, I think it's Stob Garav or Meal Garav, the most impressive part with the ridge that goes across it. Really nice. Anyway, it's quite breezy up here, so I'm going to sit for a wee bit, maybe take some pictures, some time lapse, and yeah, chill for a bit before heading back to the tent and having some tea. It's what time is it? It's back at 5 now. Yeah, I'll put it back in a wee while. Sunshine's coming and going, but it's gone just now, so yeah, let's get back down and go down for some tea. Unsurprisingly, I've not met anyone. I thought I might meet people up here, but it's getting near 6 o'clock now, so most day trippers will be on the way back home to have a pint on a Saturday night. I do have some whiskey. I'll tell you what that is later on, but for now let's just navigate down here, because I'm not going to go down the same way I came up there, because it was really steep ground. So I'm going to try and go around and be a bit safer ground. So let's go. I'll report back at the tent. Arriving and leaving late to the summit, and I hadn't seen another shoal, which is exactly what I was after. It was time to head back down the less frequented part of the mountain and back to the idyllic camp spot. The dog's already waiting for me. Going again to the coziness. She's got her own wee blanket with her, so she'll want to go into that. But yeah, anyway, back at camp. The time I'm just going to chill. I'm going to have a bite to eat as well just now. So I'll bring you back and talk a bit about the solitude and the I don't know, places which are absolutely heaving, and also the water bulls in a wee while. Right, Lex, let's get you in. Hey Lex. Oh, she's all snuggled up in there. Well, I've had my tea. I'm still quite hungry actually, but I'm looking forward to my whiskey. It's a Glenlivet. No, it's not a Glenlivet tonight. It's Glen Turret I've got, which was a Christmas present from my wife. But yeah, the weather is on the slide a wee bit. It's yeah, the clouds come in. The Ben Lors is now in the cloud. I wouldn't be surprised if the top of Tarmachan is. I can still see the top of Tarmachan, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's covered by the morning. There is rain forecast. I think it's going to rain. Anyway, I was going to talk a bit about the solitude, and this has been perfect. I've been really needing this. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy going out with other people. In fact, last week I was out with Ray and Jim on a wonderful camp. The weather was amazing, and it was great company. But sometimes, I don't know, I'm just one of these people that likes to get a bit of solitude every now and again. And yeah, it was a busy old week at work, so it's nice to get out. And yeah, I was just going to say, with it being a bank holiday weekend, I went past some of the car parks were heaving, and I know it's good for people to get out, but it wasn't that got me thinking about the solitude versus the busy walks. I was actually looking at the news this week, and again, this has happened a few times. There's pictures from Mount Everest where there's just queues and queues of people trying to get to the top, and it's actually causing bottlenecks, and unfortunately I think there's been some fatalities. And yeah, I don't know, I mean, obviously this is miles away from going up Everest, but I don't know, I just I think one of the things that draws me to the hills is being able to go up, and like this hill is, you know, go up a route and just pick a route that you know nobody's going to be on. So if you want to just have a bit of time to yourself, you can. I don't know if standing in a queue anywhere, whether that be on Mount Everest or getting my groceries at Tesco's. Oh, almost falling over. Oh, it's getting windy. I nearly lost you there, right? This quick. Yes, I don't know. I don't know if that's just it's just not for me. I know a lot of people. People have got different goals for going into the hills. Some might do it for company and friendships, and that I do that as well, and it's great. And for fitness, and I also do that for fitness, for mental well-being. There's so many reasons to go to the hills. They give so much, and but today, for me, it's the solitude and just a bit of alone time. It's just nice. It's great having wee Lexi with me. Our first camp, and she's all right. She's snuggled up in her wee blanket there. So yeah, I'll bring you back later on. I'll have my whiskey, and I'll talk a wee bit about the water bulls. Hopefully, we won't see any tonight. Oh, right. Hello. Good evening. What time is it now? It's 9:30. And the wind's actually died down a wee bit. It was really quite blustery earlier on, but it is forecast to get windier as the night goes on. But what can sometimes happen is round about sunset, which it is just about now, I sometimes find the winds do die down a little. I don't know if there's any meteorological reasoning behind that, or whether it's just me thinking that, I don't know. But it's certainly something that I seem to observe when I'm out, is that sometimes happens. But anyway, I was going to talk a bit about the mythical creature. And the only reason I kind of know about this is because when I was Googling, I've had this site in mind when I've kind of been looking at maps. I thought I'd like to come and, pitch the tent up here. It's possibly the worst possible wind direction that I could have chosen to come here. I'd kind of thought about it with the prevailing winds, but today's a strong easterly and it's kind of exposed to the east. Anyway, when I was Googling the loch's name's Lochan Tarbh Uisge, and when I Googled that, I was coming up with this mythical creature called a water bull or a water cow. And I've looked a wee bit into it, not a lot, but these are, what does it say? And let me just see, when I Googled it, it says they could only be found in isolated pools in the Highlands, while others suggest they frequent the coastal regions of Scotland. Described as having a black, soft, velvety pelt, the Tarbh Uisge would generally only leave the water at night in order to graze or to mate with any available cows. The Tarbh Uisge was thought to have no ears, and the calves born of the water bull were identified as their ears were half normal size or split. These calves... Oh God, I can't pronounce that. But anyway, according to folklore of Scottish lochs and springs by James McKinley, quote, this was in 1893, calves are the result of an occasional intercourse between these animals and their more civilised domestic cows, such calves bearing unmistakable proofs of their mixed descent in the unusual size of their ears and the wide aquatic spread of their jet black hoofs. There you go. Anyway, there's a few other stories about the water bulls actually being... what was the story? I think it was about a young woman who was at a pool and a water horse had come out and tried to get her, and the water bull protected her and drove the water horse to the coast. So they're meant to be quite nice, although there are other stories that they're malevolent. So we'll see. This is certainly an isolated Highland loch. And that must... I'm assuming that's what it means. Lochan Tarbh Uisge, I think, must mean Lochan of the water bull, perhaps. It's funny how these things come around in such a sort of isolated wee Lochan here. I wonder how that story came about in the first place. Anyway, right. It's been a good camp. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting some time to myself. So I'm going to retire back to the tent now. Lexi's doing fine here. She's been under my sleeping bag. I've got a wee tartan towel here, and she's had her last pee for the night, so we're going to settle down, aren't we, Lex? And yeah, we'll see you in the morning. With darkness descending on the camp, we settled down and just hoped that during the night there'd be no visits from the Tarbh Uisge. Anyway, putting our heads down, we just hoped that the rain that was forecast the next morning wasn't going to be too bad. Good morning. It is, it's 4:36 and it's been a pretty restless night. It's been pretty breezy. Every now and again there's been some big gusts come through. My pitch, which I thought was sheltered slightly, I don't know, it might have worked. It might have been worse if it was higher up. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's a bit gusty. Anyway, let's have a look outside. I've not actually done this yet, so I don't know what it's like out there at all. I'll show you where Lexi is actually. She's down here, I don't know if you can see her. Down there, snuggled up. That's her head, just there. So she's got her wee blanket underneath her and my duvet jacket. Keeping her nice and warm. She's nice and toasty actually. So anyway, let's have a look outside. Oh, I just unzip. Yeah. Oh, it's like it. Oh, a bit misty. Oh yeah. Okay, let's get some coffee on. Oh, let's get some coffee. I'll report back in a wee while. Oh, got the coffee on. The rain is also, look at that. It's pretty miserable. I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can hear that, but the rain is on now. I did get up and got a signal, and the forecast or the rain radar was showing that that's the rain on now, probably until this afternoon. So my plan of getting up early and missing the rain, that was the plan, by the way, hasn't really worked. So poor Lexi's going to get soaking. I'm going to get soaking. I do have a waterproof with me. I've got her wee jacket. I think the plan is get my coffee down me and then I'll strike camp, and I'll probably not film too much because I don't want to get the camera getting wet and all that sort of stuff and damaging it. But I do have my action cam. So yeah. I'll report back in a wee while and we'll see what the day brings. You don't really get too much of a sense of it here, but it was pretty blowy, and that rain was getting heavier and heavier as was forecast. So I was really keen to try and get the tent down as quickly as possible, not only for my own sake but for poor wee Lexi. As you can see, she's just sat there. She did start to run about, as you'll see in a minute, to warm up, but yeah, I did go at the as fast as I could to get the tent down in the rain and the wind. But yeah, as I mentioned right at the start, I was after some solitude, and I certainly got that at this campsite here, which I'm just checking. Remember, leave no trace. I was making sure I hadn't left anything lying about. But yeah, this campsite here isn't far from the summit of Muirnan Tarmacan, which must be probably one of the most popular Munros due to its ease of accessibility from the other side. And just choosing a different route up from the other side of the mountain meant I didn't meet a soul, and I got that feeling of solitude and being in a remote spot. And although it's not remote, it certainly had a wild feel about it, and that weather was certainly wild as we descended off the mountain. And I was glad when we descended and we were under the cloud, because we knew at this point it wasn't far to go to reach the car and the warmth. I think Lexi was looking forward to that car seat being put on and our bum heating up. Alright, back in the car. Oh, right. Oh, I'm glad to be back. That was pretty wild out there, pretty wet. Glad to be back. As is she. She didn't want to come out of that tent this morning, but neither did I. I don't know if you can see it way up yonder. We were way up beyond there, so it's still in the clouds, which was forecast. But anyway, yeah, not a bad camp, a bit of fun. Could have picked a better location, to be honest with you. I knew it was easterly winds, but I thought I might have been able to get some shelter, but not much sleep. But hey ho, right, let's go and get a coffee. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week for another adventure. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. Let's go.